1970, we sure we did live for front. Knowledge for selfish, for sure we did do the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Work hard and we shine, commitment, dedication. Neurosurgery, comedy, music, Nollywood. SOTK, Dr. Call, MC Casino. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great to another episode of the UNIBEN Alumni Series. As you know, this is a show where we bring alumni of the great University of Benin. We'll have conversation with them from all walks of life, from engineering to politics to entertainment, all walks of life. I really mean it. And on today's episode, we have a striving entrepreneur with us who is doing wonderful, who is doing a great job in the entertainment space when it comes to management, event management, artist management, and all. He is the CEO of Engraced Group. He is Emmanuel Itoto. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Emmanuel holds a Bachelor of Science degree in economics. Let me be clear: is it economics and statistics or just economics? But I know after some time, yeah.
So economics and statistics. I think my set was the last set. Economics and statistics. Yeah.
As CEO that holds the double honors.
Double honors.
Yeah. That's what they did to us as well. Political science and public administration. I think after we left, a few years after we left, they had to split the department. Because good to have you here.
Thank you.
I've been trying to connect the dots. You were. I know you held other positions, but you were director of socials for our faculty after my time, though, but for our faculty, Faculty of Social Sciences. And today you are working majorly in the entertainment space. Was it something you have projected before now? Or that's why you wanted to study, or you wanted to vie for the position of director of socials? Was it something you have looked up to that after your graduation is a field you want to explore?
So, good morning once more. So, basically, I have actually been doing this even before I had to be in that position. I've been into events. I think it's like just the year before I came into UNIBEN. So, but properly, I started properly doing the things and written down while I was in UNIBEN. So, for being in DS, I didn't really contest. So, there was an election. I think then it was between Bright Osai and Ola Adene. Because the election was cancelled, so they had to set up a caretaker committee. So that is how I came on board as director of social. So in the committee, I was the person that had the profile that suited the director of social office. So it wasn't really an elected position. So we came on board, and that's how I was DS for 1 year. But before them, I've actually been building my brand, building myself for what I'm doing today.
Okay. You mentioned that you started event management or planning even before you came into the University of Benin. And why did you choose to study economics? Would it not have suited you better if you have gone to the creative, maybe mass communication, or maybe theater arts, something that is quite creative, quite in line with what you have passion for?
So I think outside just being a creative and an event person, I'd always see myself more like a businessman
Mm,
and not just a creative. That I fully see myself as a businessman. So studying economics for me was actually exposing myself to a whole lot more angle outside of just being a creative. It
mm,
was practically building myself holistically to be
mm.
prepared for what's to come, because I think in the creative space your degree doesn't really matter that much. So it was like, okay, in another way, it was somewhat of a backup plan, but so to
Yeah.
say, but so to say, yeah, yeah. So
Okay, run us through your time at the University of Benin. You were president of your students' association, the National Economics Students Association (NESAL). So you were
yeah,
president. You were into event management. I know your brother Madiba. Yes, your
yeah.
brother was into, and we had a couple of events together then when we were in school. So you were here, you were there, you were quite active with all these things, and also you did not forget your academics. So how were you able to manage all these responsibilities and all these endeavors?
So I think first and foremost, I would say I was able to actually discover that I'm actually a natural when it comes to making things happen and organizing. So it wasn't something that I had stressed to do. It's something that I was a natural about, and I grew up to be very passionate about it. So it's just like doing what you love to do with your spare time and having the understanding that I'm here in UNIBEN, I'm here to study. So I'm studying, but you don't study for the entire 24 hours. So when there's now time to do anything that brings certain value to you, I was doing what I love to do, and I knew that this is something that I want to do for a long time. So to me, it was so much, but it didn't feel as if I was doing so much. And also, having the organizing ability kind of placed me as someone that had leadership traits from much more areas. So in the department, I was actively involved in politics, right? From my year one, I think I was ELECO coordinator for the department. I was involved in practically everything. My class football team, I was the coach. I was the coach in the class football team. So I think I just find myself in positions where I had to lead. And one way or the other, those things are still helping me today, because even look at an event company, when you launch new events and you have a large team with hundreds of persons, you need to have leadership ability to be able to do it.
Mm.
So I just knew that these are things that I had to do at that point. So it wasn't really so much because I was enjoying what I was doing. Honestly, I was just enjoying it. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. You were actively involved in the entertainment space in Uniben, and today you are also very prominent when it comes to entertainment, event management, not just South Nigeria, in Nigeria as a whole. Can you draw comparison? Can you draw some similarities that you notice while managing what we term as the starting point then in school when we're having shows, having different artists coming into school from outside, and also our homegrown UNIBEN artists having their shows, while you are called upon to manage, to organize these shows, to get students to come out to support these artists. Can you see some similarities how these shows, these events, how they are? Can you draw up some similarities between them?
So, firstly, number one similarity for me is that regardless of either it was a student event with either free ticketing or 1,000 naira or 500 naira, or is a much more massive event with A-list artists and all, and the audience is the audience, and every audience comes into each of these events, from those events from back in the days and the events we're having now. All of these audience are coming with the same expectation, to have a maximum experience and to enjoy their time. They don't come to waste their time. So that similarity, at every point in time, we are responsible to ensure that these persons go home with a good experience. So like that's number one because the audience expectation in all of these events, they may vary, but they have one expectation to not just come and waste their time. So yes, coming out to have this fun and have value, depending on how the event is being structured for both audience at these different points in my career. Yeah, it has been the same thing. The audience are coming with one expectation to get value and to have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about experiences, did the experience at UNIBEN, do you think the experience shaped how you saw the field, how you saw the profession, how you manage events outside UNIBEN? Your early days in UNIBEN, did it teach you lessons? Did it teach you, give you that foundation you needed to go outside and do better and handle bigger gigs?
Absolutely, absolutely. A little backstory. Before I first hosted my own event, that calendar year I attended almost every event in school. I'll pay tickets, I'll sit down and I'll watch. I'll pay ticket. If I see any flyer, I'll pay ticket, I'll sit down, I'll watch to understand the patterns of how this event was and stuff like that. So for me, back in school, I knew that the university days, the campus days is the only time that you can actually get to try something, apply yourself in a different, apply yourself as a young person starting up. Because outside of school, people will ask you, what have you done? So for me, that was a very, very important stage. That's like the one of the most important phase. Starting up and getting a chance to do something, having an opportunity to express yourself, to be part of something, either as a volunteer before we gradually started getting a little incentives for what we did. So yes, UNIBEN actually shaped my career. I remember the first time I secured a sponsorship deal for an event we had. It was 10,000 naira. I cannot forget how happy I was. I cannot forget the joy that we left school and we came to a meeting at Airport Road Computer Village. And after I had pitched the man, he was like, "Yes, you're going to support with 10,000 naira and give a phone out to the event." That feeling. It was
Mm,
so massive. The first event I hosted then out of school, but most of my audience were from school. When I
mm,
printed the banner and I had my name engraced event on that
mm.
banner. I wish I can look for that banner to frame it. It felt the feeling was it was second to
Yeah,
none. I didn't make money. I remember trekking home after doing the event. I was trekking home, but I was so
you
fulfilled.
fulfill.
So
Yeah.
it was a Uniben that I actually get to experience myself. I get to try. Oh, is this something that I could do? So yes, that is the face. So I think
Mm,
anytime I get to speak to young persons, I tell them this is the best time for you to go out there and apply yourself, volunteer. Because once you come out, even myself, if I want to employ you, I'm going to ask you, what have you been part of before? What have you
mm.
done? In school, it's only in school that you get to just try and see what you can do and put it and all of that. Yeah.
Okay.
So really then,
Let's talk about the outside world, the entertainment space. Now you have managed a lot of events, I a list events. Which can you remember and for you was the most challenging, and what happened? I know you have managed for Dopikin, Casino, and others, top celebrities or that top stars. Which particular event do you think was the most challenging for you?
so for most challenging, I would say, I've done casinos. I've been doing MC casinos events for like a couple of years now, 4 to 5 years. Being part of Edo Pikin's event in Lagos. I did Charlie Poppy's homecoming tour when he was like, he had quite a number. For the most challenging for me, I would say it was in 2023 when I actually hosted my own project. It was a national campus tour I did. and I had Sabinus as the
mm,
headline. So it was tagged Sabinus Life in Campus. So the scale, the budget itself, I was going to put that project. I didn't have the money, but
yeah,
just the same way I did my first event in UNIBEN, I wanted to do something. I woke up, I dressed up, and I walked to an event center and I told them that this is what I want to do and it's going to pay off to you and all of that. That was how I got to put my name on a banner for the first time. So at the same spirit and the same momentum as a Unibank comrade years after, I stood up and I'd earlier started my campus tours in 2021 and we couldn't because of some activities we had to stop. So in 2023, I was like, suppose I just won AMVCA around almost towards the end of the year before then. I was like, that's my next project. So it didn't make a lot of sense to people around me because I was like, we are going to go all around.
mm,
We did like about 7 campuses and I
mm,
touched like everywhere, north, east, west, south, like everywhere. So pulling that project actually it was it was the most challenging project in terms of raising sponsors. I remember I had I won't call him my friend, but he was an industry colleague, and he told me that, bro, instead of you to use money to do that Sabinus event, I think you should just book Sabinus for one event in that your Benin and just cash out and go. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. I didn't say anything to him. We
mm,
did the tour. It was financially before I could even pull sponsors and get brands on board. Uh, Logistics wise, it was not easy because I did 7 schools in 3 weeks. So week one, we did 3 schools. We did 3 different states back to back.
mm,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we are doing Bayelsa, Port Harcourt, another state. We did 3 eastern states in a week. Enugu today, Owerri tomorrow, Anambra, like 3 different states, tearing down, moving. So, but that project actually it shaped not just myself, it shaped my team, and it
mm,
actually shaped my brand. Before then, if I went into a room and I would say I'm an event manager, an event producer, I'm just another guy that is an event manager. But after that project, I would go into conferences and meetings where there are CEOs, and I would tell them that I host the biggest campus stores in Nigeria, and they would want to pay a little bit more attention to me. So I think that particular project was actually quite challenging, and maybe the one
mm,
after that was also challenging, but that challenge was breaking that and doing that was actually
mm.
that
Yeah,
one for me.
yeah. I'm quite interested in the campus tour because while we were in school, that was something that was quite frequent for us. We had multinationals bringing superstars. I remember the first time we saw Experience. First time, every guy was like a student of UNIBEN then because it was always coming. Experience and the likes. Tissalat will bring these people, other brands, Two Face, Amstel Water brought Two Face to the main board of the sports complex. Then we used to have a lot of shows, but I think recently we do not see these superstars on our campuses again. And thank you for doing your own beats for bringing Sabinus to the students because that's one of the ways students could see the stars that they adore on their phones, on their TVs. But for you as someone who is in the entertainment space, why is there a decline? Is it the economic factor which is affecting companies in Nigeria generally, but some are still making profit, or have they shifted their attention or their base towards something else, sidelining the campus life or the campus entertainment?
So I would say that in recent years, the way brands work, when the economy became quite challenging and revenue didn't come as much as before, what companies normally do is sales is what gives you money. So you cut down on marketing. So
Hmm,
campus activation comes from marketing budgets because they don't always convert to sales most of the time. So at
hmm,
that point, when the economy was becoming a little bit shaky and not so good. So most companies had to cut down on marketing activities and campus activations. To take an A-list to host those proper kind of events was actually very, very expensive. So that's like part of the reasons that brands actually pulled out from the campus market. I think before my tour, there was nothing really happening in campuses. There was nothing really happening in campuses. But
Yeah.
if you trace from when we did Sabinos in 2023 to here today in 2026, you will check from after that tour, a lot of persons started going back to the campuses.
Okay.
Artists started be running partnerships to get back to the campuses. But even up to now, it's still not as before when a brand would just like an MTN would just take their ambassadors and do a campus run. I think recently GT Co too, most brands started coming back to the campus because they had left the campus market, but it was just mainly because of, I think, logistics issue. I think trying to cut down costs for marketing, and because campuses doesn't really convert. The at times we sell tickets very, very, very cheap. So the show is
Yeah.
almost free, and to produce a standard show itself is quite expensive. So you do the event. So imagine not as a brand now, as an entertainment company. I go to campuses, I spend a lot of millions, and I don't. At the end of the day, I'm not coming back home with. I'm not the take home is not money actually, but it's the
Hmm.
value that we're giving to the student community. So I think, but recently brands are also like coming back, but it's not like before when the campus was like where everybody was going to.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Still talking about campus entertainment. I know, was it 2017 or 2018 when Basket Mouth came back to UNIBEN? It came to do a show, a free show, yeah, for the students then. And you are close to a lot of these UNIBEN alumni who are superstars. Has it ever crossed your mind to put up something like a UNIBEN alumni show on campus where we have the likes of Johnny Drill, MC Casino, Basket Mouths, and a whole lot of other superstars who are alumni of the great University of Benin. Has it ever crossed your mind to put these talents together and do something as a way of giving back? I understand you go to the university, you speak to students about mentorship, you support them in one way or the other. But having such a show, don't you think it will actually boost the entertainment ecosystem of our institution?
Okay, I honestly, I would say Uniben Entertainment University of Benin currently, as we're having this conversation in 2026, the month of June, as a campus expert when it comes to entertainment. If I'm ranking
Yeah,
my first 10 campuses when I have an investment to go to, I won't even rank Uniben. So it shows you that Uniben right now, we need a project like this because the entertainment scale in University of Benin is no longer the involvement, the acceptance, and it's not as it used to be. So I've thought of it before, but I've not acted on it at any point because it just crossed my mind and I didn't really act. But I know that it is something that is going to be massive. It's going to be massive and it's going to add so much value. Just Uniben has had a whole lot of stars that would
yeah.
even love to come back and be part of something massive. I'm sure if there's a way for this to happen, I'm very, very open to lead that
Okay,
movement.
we can actually talk about it. We can talk about it backstage, and let's see if there's something we can do because I think it was last year I actually had that idea, which I spoke with the leadership of the Alumni Association. So we are trying to fine tune it. I remember then during convocation we used to have variety nights. Yes, I think there's a day set aside for variety nights where we have talents from the institution come and showcase that we can cooperate something like that and have the superstars from outside, the SODKs, the those in the Nollywood, those even the musicians, will bring them on board. Honorable Madiba, I believe these guys will be willing if there's a proper structure and come
Yeah,
and honor such.
it should be very massive. I don't think there's a venue. It's going to be the main bowl. that can
The,
accommodate
actually such.
the star power that is going to be there, because there's a lot of star power from UNIBEN in the entertainment
Yeah,
sector. Very, very massive.
yeah, it's something we can look at actually. You mentioned you were involved with the Charlie Poppy homecoming. How was the event like? I'm a big fan of actually, maybe I'm a big fan of artists that come out from Edo State. We do not have them every day. So when we have our own, we try to always support them. The Remas, the Charlie Poppies, and the Edo Pikin, and the Honorable Madiba. Charlie Poppy is a global brand. It's someone we are proud of. How was it for you to be part of such a project? Professionally, how was it for you? Then, secondly, for me, emotionally, I was invested, and you are someone from the state as well. I know you've been invested too. That this is an average Edo-lite, an average Edo youth who has taken the world by storm with his talent, with music, and you've been part of his homecoming where those state people came out to appreciate their own. How was the arrangement? How was the preparation? How was the show like for you?
So I think in recent years, we've in the music space in recent years, apart from maybe Johnny Drill,
Mm,
we've not really had like our Edo guys like up there in music, and maybe down to the grassroots. We've not really had the grass to grace movement. Aside the likes of Rema that are already quite big, but in recent years we've
yeah,
not really had that kind of movement. So I think a year before then, Goya's song "You Want to Bam Bam" was
yeah,
actually
yeah.
doing
Actually,
numbers, and I could remember arguing that that was like the biggest song out of Africa, because I was proud that yes, it's coming back to us. So I actually still produced Goya Menos Homecoming the year before. So
oh,
when Charlie Poppy came out, and the storm he came out with, the emotion was actually, it was something else. So shout out to Adozi Banks Entertainment. That was the company that hosted the concert. Myself and my company, we produced it. So they just came to my office that Charlie Poppy is coming home and it's their project, and they want me to handle it. So at that point we said this was going to happen, and it was yeah, that was when the whole Pluto thing was trending. So beyond the
maniac.
professional aspect, it was like, yes, this is one of us, and he's coming. I want to show you. I still have the costume. This is what he wore to come out on stage
On
for
stage.
the
Oh,
event.
oh,
So the event, the production and everything, we tried to create that Pluto feel. So beyond, it was not just another event for us, because we knew
mm,
that everybody was watching, the world was watching. So we ensured that, yeah, this is our own, and he's doing it up there. So he got a very, very deserving homecoming. I won't lie to you. Since I've been producing events at Creative Hub, all respect to every client I've had, I think the crowd that we had in that hall, assuming we knew, we wouldn't have done that event alone. I'd
yeah,
never, I'd never seen that kind of stampede. The hall was not enough for us. The hall was choked to the brim, and we had a lot of people still outside. If we had known, we would have taken that event maybe to the stadium or
the
something. But
stadium. Yeah,
the
yeah.
motion,
It's
the
a
motion,
global.
and even afterwards, the motion that came after that event, because I know that that event played a major role in Rema even coming back home
Mm,
a few years after, because yeah, wow, because if you go online around that time, and people are like, you can't do a music concert in Edo State, or this one. The bad PR was almost too much. Like, something will happen, and for those of us that are in the space that we go out of state to produce for projects like that, and why won't it happen in Edo State? So that project was like the project that people, yeah, what these guys are even saying is wrong. So it
mm.
was actually a massive one. It was a massive one.
Okay.
And
You just mentioned those states. Our entertainment space in those states. How do you think we are progressing? Yes, we might not rank with the likes of Lagos and maybe Abuja. But as a state, when it comes to entertainment, do you think we are getting it right? Do you think we are moving? We are taking the steps forward. Do you think so?
So I think the entertainment industry in Edo State is growing actually. I won't lie to you. But when we compare it to the likes of Lagos and the likes of Abuja, I think there are several variables that we don't get to really look at. Now, if it comes to talents wise,
Mm,
those states, when it comes to talents, when it comes to natural talent, and we have a whole pool of talents that are coming out steady. Now, what the advantage that in Lagos and Lagos particularly, because I feel that entertainment here compared to Abuja, self, largely we can even we can have that argument and
yeah.
in certain ways. But when you look at Lagos, the access to investments, the
Mm,
access to certain facilities
yeah.
is actually different. It's better off there. And what does creatives, what entertainers need actually to actually do better is to have access to some facilities that of makes most of these things easy. But it is an industry that is actually thriving, and I keep telling investors that you guys are sleeping on a state because the talent market is there. The talent market is there. Unlike few years before, it is improving. It is still getting better. The brands, we don't have so much brands, but the local brands in their own way have also been trying to involve themselves. The hospitality industry too here is also thriving because you cannot separate hospitality industry with the entertainment industry. They are like a conjoined. So yeah, but I feel that it's more brand involvement with more investors. Yeah, we can now maybe take the next. That's what is needed for the next step. But we have a lot of talent. The mini campus challenge was just won by an Edo boy.
Mm,
So you can count most of the guys that are trying, even in the Lagos, even in Lagos and out of even in Abuja, you go and check their roots. It's
mm,
either the school in University of Benin where they formed, or they stayed in Edo State, or they are somewhat linked to Edo State. So from here in the south, I would say Edo State is like the biggest exporter of talent in the south
mm,
right now. So with more involvement of stakeholders, investors, and maybe a better access to certain facilities, then
yeah.
we can now take the next step. But it's an industry that is growing, but we just need better amenities
Yeah,
and access.
thank you for your honest position on that. Lastly, let's go back to our institution, UNIBEN. What you learned from this school? What values, what attributes that you learned from UNIBEN? That UNIBEN taught you? What are those things outside your certificate, your Bachelor of Science in Economics and Statistics? What are those valuable skills, soft skills, if I may say, that Uniben give to you?
Okay, I think for someone that was a student leader in University of Benin, a large part of leadership I will attribute it to UDBN because having the ability to lead and being in the position where you have to lead people, it is two different things. So if I didn't get that opportunity in the University of Benin, because that was not done in the classroom,
Mm,
that decision of the political decision in school, it's another decision on its own that
mhm.
grooms you. So
Yeah,
having people, having an entire department from year one to year four, that largely the decisions you make as a student leader, stuff like that, and how you handle things, the kind of programs that you hosted, all of those things. So I think outside of the class, my leadership skills largely was from UNIBEN. I think also I said this earlier, but in UNIBEN, I learned to go for what I want. So if I have an idea, I don't sit on it. My brand was properly vetted in UNIBEN. The first project I ever did. The first time I had some of my friends and we sat down and I told them what I wanted to do. The idea was, I still remember where we sat down. It was a Feroz lounge. They are still my friends today, but
Mhm.
it was a Feroz lounge, and that idea died in that table.
Yeah.
It died because of they knew that I was going to come and borrow money from them. But a few months after, I had another idea. Then I picked someone that maybe understood myself, and I shared the idea with, and hence I was able to do that project afterwards. So that circumstances made me learn something that maybe the people I need at the point of idealism is different from the people that I needed when I have something that they can see. I learned that in UNIBEN and I still do that today. So if I want to do something new or an idea, I don't just go to any random people
Mhm.
because they might just be your guys, but they're not the
That,
guys to help you bring
yeah.
that. So that's a very key lesson. I can't forget that the whole of that, how I was not able. So anything I want to bring to life, I always have one person that understood, maybe has gone ahead of me,
Mm.
that sees things the way I saw it to do it. Then once they are, I now have like I've taken the first steps that people don't get to see and is out there. I have the friends that will now come out and oh, where are you? So I learned that in UNIBEN and it's still helping me because that was where my brand was formed from. If I didn't understand that I had to now look for somebody that understood what I'm trying to do, I would not have been able to maybe start my own project. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's a good place for us to anchor. It has been wonderful speaking with you.
Thank you
I've been
so much.
speaking with Emmanuel Itoto, the Chief Executive Officer of Engraced Mindset Group, a entertainment entrepreneur, a creative as well. Thank you very much, brother,
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
for gracing our interview.
Thank you so much, boss.
Thank you. Continue to subscribe to our channel, bringing more exclusive interviews of UNIBEN alumni. Bye.